X, Y, and Z contacts at the YWCA that we're going to connect. You know, like really connecting folks as soon as possible, because this is like we are all in this together. It's not like one organization trying to like, solve everything.
There used to be, I mean, historically, that was part of the problem, is limited resources.
Yep.
So you'd have somebody that, you know, an organization that would try, well, we got to have a mental health specialist, we got to have a legal specialist, we have a domestic violence person or something like that, or a substance abuse. So by doing this, it allows a more effective use of resources?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And everybody, like I said, everybody is together. Everybody is, I might be getting ahead of myself, but something really cool about coordinated entry that wasn't around in Missoula previously was even just having a full understanding of the situation in our community. Like, this system came with it, a database that collects information. It's called the Homeless Management Information System, and that is a space where, we're able to, like, we actually know how many people are experiencing houselessness in Missoula right now, to the best of our ability, whereas, previous to that, it was purely anecdotal or based on a point-in-time count that happens once a year. So
I recall that in the previous iteration of Poverello, for example, that was one of the things that was hard, was to get their arms around it, because it was based on a lot of street-level information. And consequently, people requesting help was based upon, oh, I heard this, or I heard the Union Gospel Mission has this, or whoever. And so this is kind of moving beyond that.
Yes.
We'll go to questions in just a minute. Again, I want to give the phone number 552-6002, 552-6002. Don't forget to use the 406 on that. And then if you're here and you want to write a question down, a couple other quick things, and then we'll go to our question and answer session. One thing that's interesting to me is, as we've looked at this, let's just sort of set sort of the focus of where we're at. I mentioned the Missoula Organization of Realtors report, and basically, in fact, it was rather astonishing. We're here and we're expecting this announcement of $450,000 for a median price, and it's gone up to $500,000 just this year in the first quarter. Rents, average rents going up, and so let's focus on that part of it a little bit. How dire is our situation? And Emily, I'll look at you a little bit, because it's kind of the initiative part. When you guys look at the market and where we're at, especially on that rental and transitional housing options, or even transitional being get you out of one situation and set you up to go somewhere else, how critical has that gotten for us? How much of a crisis are we in, do you think?
It's extremely critical. I mean, that it's impacting our houselessness work in such a significant way, in so many significant ways. It's impacting our ability to utilize vouchers and people falling off the voucher list. It's impacting our ability to work with property managers and get folks into housing. It's impacting the amount of new shelter beds we need to create and how quickly all of our spaces are filling up, the amount of wait lists that we have. I mean, it's huge right now. And that said, like, our coordinated entry system staff are finding houses for people somehow every week. So there's really hard work going on through the staff, with all the staff and the clients that they're working with and the people that, we're trying to serve. But the options are extremely limited, and we are luckily, we have city and county leadership who's willing to be really creative and try new things and create a temporary safe outdoor space and create an authorized camping site and say, we're just going to make it happen, and we'll learn as we go, and we're going to mess things up, and then we're going to make them better, and we're just going to keep doing that, and we're going to work with all of our partners. And that is critical to being able to respond to such a crisis time. But I mean, the housing situation just impacts this so significantly.
One of the things that was brought up, and I found this really interesting, was the issue of the vouchers alone. And Jim McGrath was saying that, we had to lobby and talk to Housing and Urban Development, HUD, to get that price raised. But then no sooner had we gotten a little bit more on those vouchers, then of course rents are outpacing that again. I think the average now for rental units, I recall, is about $1,000 a month. I mean, it's not cheap now. So what about that too? Is that kind of a moving target? Does it present some challenges for the organizations in the program?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like Emily said, I think it's hard because folks have housing vouchers, they have subsidies that will cover, at least 70% of the rent based on someone's income, or maybe the whole amount if they don't have income, and yet nowhere will accept them. So I mean, huge impacts, like not only for the money coming in, from places like HUD, but obviously the folks who have a resource are eager to get into housing, and there just aren't opportunities for them.
And that applies to, go ahead, Emily.
I was going to say, the other piece of that puzzle is not just the housing vacancies, but it's willingness to rent to this specific population. And that is another huge issue that we face constantly, is property managers and landlords who are unwilling to rent to this population or take a chance on them, regardless of how many months of rent they can pull up beforehand or how many people they can have vouch for them. So that's the other piece there that just makes it even more dire for the population we're working with.
One other question, then we'll open it up too. I'm curious, I know in the Bitterroot specifically, we call it the Yellowstone effect down there, where now you have all of these cast members coming in, you have the production crews. So now a room, for example, if you're trying to find something for someone for one night or a couple of nights while they're in transition, now you're competing at $200, $300, $350 a night, and of course that's outpacing the programs. I don't know if we're seeing that effect here in Missoula, but certainly we get a lot of folks coming through. We're facing summer, college coming and going. Do we have factors as well that are presenting problems for that temporary night or 2 nights or 3 nights or whatever while we're trying to help folks out?
Yeah, I think, yes, I think that applies here as well. I think it applies when you think about like short-term rentals and how that impacts the market. I think it applies also when you think about hotel motel stays. I mean, I was looking at hotel prices recently for just a friend of mine and was like, "Ooh, I'm not going to rent a hotel. This is not affordable." So yeah, it's impacting all of those levels, and including so many of the people we work with just need a stable place to get out of survival mode for a few days, even if not a few months. And yeah, that's just really inaccessible.
Yeah. Emily, anything on that? Or Sam? Sorry.
No, you're fine. No, I think that, yes.
Okay, good.
Very impactful.
Well, let's go ahead and open it up to questions. We've got a good group here tonight. And again, Councilman Jordan Hess with us. We've got Ricky Henderson from the city's housing program as well. So let's go ahead and I'll start running around the room here. If you got a question, just raise your hand if you'd like to ask a question or if you have a comment, anything like that. If you want to think for a minute. I think I'm going to go back over here, guys, to Jordan Hess, our city council president, and talk a little bit about this. Excuse me, I'll walk in front of you for a second. Jordan, go ahead and stand up. Jordan, when let's face this camera here. When you look at this situation, you've been on council for many years. I think about 10 or so now, hasn't it?
Just going on, just starting my 9th year.
9th year, okay, it was pretty close. When you've watched this, and especially through that 10-year homeless plan and what's gone there, what's been kind of your thoughts? Are we making some headway? What's kind of your, from a policy standpoint?
Yeah, absolutely, Dennis. I think we're definitely making headway on a number of fronts. And I think, you just look at emergency winter shelter as a great example, where a few years ago we didn't have any emergency winter shelter operations. There was a group of us huddled in a conference room on a Friday night, convincing Mountain Line to open up their the transfer center for the weekend. And temperatures were going down into sub-zero ranges, and it was scrappy, and it was disorganized, and it was chaotic, and it absolutely saved lives. But it was untenable as a long-term solution. And so what we had to do, what we do in local government is we incrementally get better. We learn what works. We try to collect good data. We try to do the best we can with our scarce resources. And now, a few years later, we had a really successful winter shelter program that was, and this year we had no deaths from exposure that we're aware of, and that I think is a direct result of our all the good folks working on this and just a continued commitment to getting better.
I know that Mayor Engen mentioned this a couple of months ago. We talked about the numbers that were in those shelters too. I mean, they were getting used, weren't they? It was not just a handful of people that needed that space, right?
Yeah, I think absolutely. And I'm not certain, and I think probably one of our experts would know the utilization rate, but it was I want to say it was around 100 a night at the emergency winter shelter. And again, those were folks that were not staying out in the cold, that had a safe, warm place to stay. So I think long term we can grow and improve on that. The real success of the emergency shelter is that it was a low barrier shelter that really took anyone who came to the door and gave them a safe place for the night.
As a final question, when you look at the progress we make, and I know trying to separate this out, this is a huge issue because it's all the way from who can afford the $500,000 house to folks who are in that transition or homeless. and those kinds of things. Would you like people to realize the complexity of what we're trying to deal with here?
Absolutely. We have a complex web of land use law in Montana when it comes to developing housing. We have market pressures. You know, we have people coming in and offering $80,000 over asking price cash, and they're pricing out maybe a first-time buyer, and maybe they're demolishing a starter home and building something bigger. Maybe they are just priced out on rent. Actually, just had a text from a good friend, a working professional here in Missoula, who is being evicted from a rental unit. So it's a problem at all price points, and it's a problem at all income levels. And but the thing that really is a concern is that it puts pressure, it pushes more people to the margin. So that's why I think the work around homelessness and around our houseless Missoulians is so important, because as we make progress, we have, the problem gets bigger nationally.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you very much, Jordan. Anybody with questions, go ahead and raise your hands. We'll jump in here. Sam, he brought up something that's interesting about this being a national issue, and I think to myself how I read an article today that the average rent in Miami, now we're not Miami, thank heavens, but it's like just under $3,000 a month. And I know we have situations here in Whitefish. I've heard stories, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month. Certainly rents going up around the whole area here. Mm-hmm. How much of a challenge has that been? And are you guys worried, is there light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to trying to work in such a upwardly impactful situation?
That's a good question, and I don't have like a super clear answer other than it has always been really hard. And I think like the cool thing about coordinated entry systems is in the state of Montana, we are kind of one coordinated entry. We're like, that's just how we're designated. And I say it's cool, but mostly because it makes us not feel alone. We have monthly meetings where we're talking with, heads of coordinated entry systems across the state, and very much so, this is a prevalent issue that is everywhere. Rents are going up everywhere. Capacity is really, really low everywhere. As far as like speaking to like the details of your question, I wish I knew. I am a dangerously optimistic and hopeful person. I think that's why I've been able to stay in this work for so long. And that it's just because I believe that it will get better.
Yeah. It's a challenge though, isn't it? I mean,
it is.
when you talk about your different organizations, and whether you're small or large, doesn't matter how big the partners are.
Absolutely.
They're just facing a crunch from all aspects, right?
Yep, absolutely. And I mean, I think it's hard to get folks into housing just in general, and also the staff that are working on these issues with folks are also experiencing housing instability because of the market. So it's like there's just a lot of layers to this that are really hard, and I mean, amazing shout out to all of our partners who still show up and do this really hard work.
We have some good posters that Emily brought in, talks about myths and facts when it comes to this, and maybe we could talk about this for a minute. Again, if you have a question or anything, just raise your hand and we'll jump out there. But Emily, I'm wondering, I think we've all seen news footage, especially from the coast, and certainly I'm very familiar with Seattle, having covered that and where that was at even in the 90s. But Seattle, Portland, other places, even Spokane, where we see these large camps, Southern California, those things. Let's talk a little bit about the stigma and that difference between the chronically homeless, I guess is the right phrase to use, and people who are in this point of maybe being in danger of, living in the car or not having any shelter. What about that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of layers and a lot of stages of a person's experience in life, whether you're houseless or not. But as it relates to this specific situation, there's people who are at risk, imminent risk of losing their housing. There's people who have just recently lost their housing. There's people who have been dealing with it for months, and then there's people who have been dealing with it for years, and all different reasons of entering that state. And I think it doesn't ever do us justice to generalize about any population, and even just putting those categories down, I kind of feel wonky about it because it's just so much more complex than that. And there's been multiple individuals that we've spoken to in the past year or two, particularly during the pandemic. This is true all the time, but has felt heightened in the last 2 years, who owned a house and then were staying at the Pavarello Center because of some, they couldn't work because of COVID and they didn't have an income and they lost their house. You know, it's more complex than that. But the stories are individual, and the stages are really specific to different situations. And so we try to be really adaptive to that as much as we can, where we really try to create a spectrum or a continuum of programs and of resources that meet as many of those needs as possible. We're never going to be able to respond to every single situation with a built program, but we try to create programming with our partners that meets as many of those as we possibly can.
Because I know in the stories I've done, the people I've talked with, whether it's chronically homeless, but especially those people in that we could go either way sort of thing, how fast that transition can happen sometimes. And Sam, I'm sure that's kind of what the responsive part of the entry program is, right? Is how do you deal with something that may have changed real rapidly, right?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. And I think Emily had mentioned earlier the Centralized Housing Solutions Fund, and that is like, something that is growing and that it will be important to grow, but as a safety net to catch some of those folks that maybe it is that they're, and I think we've had a lot of funding because of COVID and, ARPA and all of those things, but just thinking of like those safety nets that can capture folks that maybe just need a little bit of assistance to keep them from entering into the system itself. So like she said, it's really about the platter, and making sure that there's options for everybody to the best of our ability.
How do you get past the pride question? And I ask that because in Montana, so many people, and this is true, I know from what I hear in the Bitterroot, the outlying counties especially, there's this sense of, well, I'm Montanan, I should be able to take care of myself. How are the different partners sort of addressing that, which can be a significant barrier sometimes to people saying, well, I should be able to take care of myself?
With like lots of love.
I knew that was a tough question.
It's a big question. I'm like, do we have time to talk about individualism? But anyway, I think it's with a lot of like compassion and love and really normalizing that people are doing the best that they can in really impossible situations. And, I think like little tiny things that just encourage people to know that like asking for help is okay and everybody needs to ask for help sometimes. It's definitely a big piece of, I think the stigma and the shame that comes from greater society just perpetuates that, right? And so the more we can do to dismantle some of that while also showing up with lots of love, it's really important.
Is there any specific efforts that kind of like is that the mental health sort of thing or an emotional health thing? Or, if I show up and I'm at my wit's end, I've been fighting this for months, maybe even a year to try to stay in my home, and now all of a sudden it's all falling apart on me. A lot of times because of health issues. I mean, that's a layer right there. Health costs and things. But is there a specific way that if I came to you and had those problems that you could respond and handle that?
I think there's an underlying, I got you, and then you can follow up. I think there's an underlying approach to everything that we try to do, including our specific assessment, is a strengths-based approach. We're very intentional with our language, and that assessment, that mapping to appropriate placement is a new assessment that replaced one previously that we found to be inequitable. And we really try to be specific and intentional about how we're asking questions and how we're meeting people where they are, and not saying, I can't even think of an example right now, but trying to frame things in the positive. And when people are coming saying, I can't even provide for my kids, I don't even have a house, I don't have water, it's really trying to look at, okay, but you showed up, and that is being a mom, or that is being a parent, and you're here today asking for help. Like, that's a huge step, and really trying to take that approach to kind of pull that strength space out of them and really show them, here's all the things you are doing. Yeah, you are facing some real hard circumstances right now, and like, we're all here to help and be in that with you. And here's all the ways that you have showed up for yourself, for your family, for whatever it is. So I think that kind of underlies, not just our assessment, but all of the ways, all of the approaches that everyone in the coordinated entry system is trained on.
Finding that piece of resiliency,
right.
Yes.
And then building on that, right?
Yes, it's a lot of positive reframing because folks are very strong and very resilient.
One of the things, and Sam, I'll ask you to share if you can in a way, but to sort of put sort of a face on this a little bit.
Yeah.
What's a story or a situation, if you could share, that has really, either one of you for that matter, that has really touched you and said, wow, I learned a lot about resilience. I learned a lot about what people are facing. I mean, either one of you, if you have a situation that you can kind of share that way.
You're asking us hard questions.
I know.
It's hard because there's so many
Yeah,
stories.
exactly.
Like to
Well,
me, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Even a composite of
Yeah.
what you found. I mean, and I'm asking that not to be prurient about it or anything, but
Yeah.
because I run into so many
Yeah.
things when I cover different things, and I'm going, wow, how are you coping? How are you doing this?
Yeah.
And it really is astonishing. So even from a composite, is it families? Is
And the
it?
stories are so important.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
I
so
will
important.
think. I don't know if you have one offhand.
Well, you might have to come back to that one.
Yes, yeah, maybe pause. I'm
Okay.
trying to, I will think, yes, there are so many stories. And also it's like, it's hard to share somebody else's
Yeah.
story
Yeah,
sometimes too,
yeah,
because there's
yeah.
a lot of nuances to that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I think I can speak, like a really big a training that we were just in earlier today is really around helping folks identify and like literally draw out resource maps that they have. And I'm not talking about like SNAP or, these housing vouchers. I'm talking about like, family members, whether those are family members that are here or family members in other areas. Like, is that a support system for you? Who do you go with when you have a problem? Who do you talk to? And sometimes those, just like helping folks center themselves in what is a network of really caring, loving individuals can be a really useful tool. And I think like we really formalized it today in a training, but that's the kind of work that folks are doing with people on the streets, is really helping them to see the things that they have, because I mean, folks are in crisis. Like, this is not a fun time. People do not enjoy being unhoused. And so it's just really helping to, just like Emily said, look at those strengths, look at the things that folks do have.
Well, and like you say, sometimes that's the hardest way to navigate.
Yes.
You say, well, I don't want my parents or my sister or my brother or my ex to know what kind of a pickle I'm in,
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And so that's a real difficult thing. So
Yeah, I think one of the other really powerful, again, a broad generalization of a grouping of folks that I've come across, at least in my experiences, these individuals who have been through, like, you listen to their story and it's just like, ooh, and then 2 minutes later it's another like, oh my gosh, and it just keeps going, and yet they're the person at the shelter or at the campsite or wherever they are that's being the relational person to bring everyone together and create community and culture at those spaces. And that's always just so powerful. You see the people who have just been constantly beat down, and yet they're the ones that are keeping everyone else up. And it just makes you want to, like, man, how do we do better? This person is still here. How do we do better?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Want to remind you that this is Wednesdays with the mayor. Mayor Engen could not be with us tonight, and we wish him pulling for him at all times. And we do have with us tonight Emily Armstrong, who's the Housing Initiatives Specialist, and Sam Hilliard, who's the Coordinated Entry Specialist. Also in the audience is Ricky Henderson, the Housing Program Manager for the City of Missoula. I may come to you for a question here, Ricky. So, as we expand out, there's a lot to cover here. And also City Councilman Jordan Hessen. We want to encourage you to go ahead and call in if you'd like. 406-552 6002 is our number. So if you ever, and we have operators standing by, as we always say. And then, of course, here in the audience as well, if you've got a question or something, why raise a hand, or we have note cards in the back there. One of the questions that comes here is, what are the goals of the authorized campsite, and what is its future? Of course, this is a program that started kind of during the pandemic, the initial lockdowns. Concern was, if we have people with COVID, where are they going to be able to go? So there was those discussions. And then, just as Jordan said a few minutes ago, here's a problem, especially in the elements. So kind of where are we at? And I guess, Emily, I'll start with you on that. What are sort of the goals? Where are we at after a couple of years of the operation for that program, and how's that kind of fitting into the big picture?
Yeah, so the Authorized Campsite is actually a pretty new program. It started just in January this year. There have been a few different COVID-specific, COVID-specific, happened during COVID programs. The first one was the Sleepy Inn, which is a non-congregate shelter that we used during COVID for folks who had COVID or were at risk and needed a safe place to be. And then the Temporary Safe Outdoor Space, which is out by Buckhouse Bridge, which opened in December of 2020. And so the Authorized Camping Site is our newest iteration and our kind of suite of that continuum. And it opened, in January this year, and is really intended to be a space for people to safely camp. we experienced last spring at the close of the emergency winter shelter a really big uptick in people camping in places that are not safe or intended for human habitation, and there were impacts to neighborhoods and to ecological systems, and also very much to those individuals. And so we really were trying to figure out, how do we solve this? And city and county leadership came together and kind of identified it as a top level issue, and directed the Office of Emergency Management to kind of do an incident command process around it. And so through all of that, we landed at this authorized camping site, which is, again, really intended to just be a low barrier, safe option, legal option for people to come and camp. There's 40 spots, and there's basic needs services. There are bathrooms. We're working on putting in a hand washing station right now. There's water, there was firewood, there's trash, there's a sharps container, kind of the basic needs to be met at a space like that. And then 24/7 security, and we recently have a designated staff person who's kind of the site manager out there, and then really strong partnerships with our outreach teams and many providers across the community who come and do trainings and classes and just check on clients. And it's another space. One of the challenges in a lot of this work is lives are so, there's so much changing all the time. Phones go missing, things get stolen, someone moves. It's hard to keep tabs on an individual who you're trying to build relationship and build supports for. And so having a space like this really allows our staff and our outreach folks to be able to go to this place and provide medical care, provide housing care, provide social supports more reliably in a way that benefits everyone there, because there's more consistency of care. So that's been a really significant piece of it. But the goals right now are really just to have this safe legal space and decrease the amount of urban camping that's happening in other locations that just aren't built the same way to support human habitation. They don't have the backstop of security to help things from getting stolen. They don't have bathrooms, all of those pieces that we're really.
And I would imagine, Sam, from the outreach program especially, this must be a better, a safer way to distribute those services, because just going out and trying to ferret people out from where are they at and what's going on, not always the safest situation that way.
Oh my gosh. Speaking from personal experience, before I worked with the city, I worked on the homeless outreach team at the POF. So I actually was on outreach kind of prior to some of these initiatives. And we spent a lot of our time literally looking for folks. Individuals maybe had come up for a housing resource, or somebody had tried to get in touch with them, and it was literally trying to find them, because again, people are really resourceful and are trying to be strategic about where they're putting their camps so that they can keep themselves safe and also have some sense of stability. And we may not have known where those places were, because prior to ACS and TSOS, it's we were kind of at the whim of chance. Whereas now, outreach is able to be I know where this person is going to be. They have a consistent spot. They feel safe. They are able to think about, and dream about what they want their future to look like, because they're less preoccupied with knowing where am I going to sleep tonight? Where am I going to get food? Those kind of things. It's just, it's a game changer.
I'm curious too on that, is how big of a footprint are these programs covering? And I ask that because I can recall this is pre-COVID, being out in some of the outlying areas as I go, and out on the South Shore Road and different places like that, where people were using traditionally dispersed camping sites and setting up pretty permanently in those locations. And I know during the housing downturn, we had quite a bit of camping out at Fish Creek and Petty Creek. I mean, those kind of places. How big of a footprint or map-wise are we trying to deal with on these programs? I mean, is there particular boundaries? Is it in the county, or what are we looking at?
I'll speak to the initiatives, and the coordinated entry system I think is a little bit further reaching.
Okay.
The initiatives, a lot of these initiatives themselves are really intended to serve, many of them are city-county initiatives, so they're intended to serve the city and the county, with understanding that the majority of folks who are needing to access them are closer to the city boundaries. And I think that's the impact we're seeing. When we're seeing, where urban camps were, most of them were in the city. There are some outlying, and to be honest, there probably still are. We don't have enough sites or spaces to meet all of the need, and people are really resourceful, and they're probably out there in some really hidden spot that we don't know about or won't know about for 2 or 3 months. So it's not, it's not like every single site has been addressed, but I think we've made a pretty significant impact, especially in kind of the more urban area I mean, you can see it visibly. There are less camps in the spaces that we saw them, West Broadway Island,
Yeah.
Reserve Street, you know, all these places where they were really prominent last year. We are not seeing them right now. It's definitely minimized. And then the coordinated entry system itself has a scope that covers a few counties.
Yeah,
Yeah.
speak to that, Sam.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I had mentioned before that there are kind of across the state, there are several different coordinated entry efforts, so like kind of around the major cities. And because Montana is a big state, we and how our human resource councils are kind of divided up amongst the state, the coordinated entry system itself serves Ravalli, Missoula, and Mineral counties. And Ravalli has their a little bit of their own system, but it's mostly around their domestic violence shelter, which is great. But yeah, as far as like if somebody is unhoused in Mineral County, very rarely do we know about them. But if we do, then yes, like they are served in the same way that we would serve someone who is located here in Missoula, to the best of our ability.
And I've heard this in Hamilton too. There is some concern that, well, if the problem grows in Missoula, which obviously is the largest urban center, how many of those people are going to go down and start showing up at, you know, up to Scalcahoe or different places like that? Is that where that information flow helps? So if you have somebody here, they're kind of in the program, you know, making sure they can get the assistance rather than give up and go someplace else.
Right.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, good.
Yeah.
A couple other questions again. Looking for hands? Okay, good. We do have a question here that was called in or from the audience. And again, there's cards out there if you want to write down your question. In what ways will projects like the Trinity and Village help with some of these issues? And this speaks, I think, to projects that are coming online. I think Jim McGrath talked about this the other day in the press conference. What about those projects? And Emily, I'll start with you on that. Things that are sort of in the pipeline, and he was talking about, I can't remember, he said the number of units and things coming on is somewhat encouraging, isn't it?
It is, yeah, absolutely. We have the Trinity and Villaggio, both are pretty significant
Villaggio.
affordable rental projects that are set to open pretty soon, within the next year and a half. And Villaggio is 202 affordable rental units. I think it's 2, 3, and 4 bedroom. And then Trinity is actually split between 2 sites. So it has a Cooley site and a Mullen site. The Cooley site is just affordable rentals, and then the Mullen site is affordable rentals, permanent supportive housing, and a navigation center. And so Trinity itself has another 172 affordable rentals that'll be part of that project.
Explain that one phrase used, that, what'd you say, permanent?
Permanent supportive housing. So
What's that?
Yeah, so that's the other 30 units of Trinity, which also is total 202 units, but 172 affordable rentals, 30 permanent supportive housing. So permanent supportive housing is a resource that's created really under this Housing First model. And in Missoula, we really use it to serve, again, the most vulnerable in our system. We also have a program called FUSE, Frequent Users of Systems Engagement, and we really try to connect those folks with permanent supportive housing. And so it's really intended to be a house for people who are the most vulnerable and need a place to live, with the assumption that that's the top need. Someone needs a safe space, they need a house, and they need to not have to worry about that. And no other basic need can be met if someone doesn't have safe, stable housing. So that's really the Housing First model. And so we're trying to build more of those units to be able to meet that need and really support that population in being able to address whatever other issues they may be having, mental health, substance use, just safety, relationships, whatever it is. But none of that can be done until they feel safe and have a secure place to be. So 30 units at Trinity will be that. And along with just the house comes these supportive programming. So it's not just here's a house, good luck. It's here's a house, we're going to support you through this. We're going to teach you how to use a laundry machine. We're going to teach you how to live inside, in walls. You know, that transition is, I think there's a misconception that, you know, if you give someone an indoor space, it's really easy. All of a sudden, things are fine. It is such a hard transition. So there are so many stories about folks who get a house and then they continue sleeping outside because, you know, they're not comfortable being inside, or they sleep on the ground instead of in their bed, or, you know, all these situations. It's just such a significant transition. It takes a lot of time and a lot of learning and a lot of relationship. And so those supportive services are really intended to wrap around that person as they're going through that experience and walk with them as they kind of settle into this new space, and then also connect them to resources as they get comfortable and start to be able to address some of the other challenges that have been impacting them, whether they're medical or mental health or whatever it may be. So that's a really significant piece as well. And then the Navigation Center is the other, Trinity is kind of a 3-part Trinity. The other piece of it is the Navigation Center, which is intended to be really a hub for the coordinated entry system. So it'll have a clinic space that'll be operated by a Partnership Health Center with medical and behavioral health support there, and then also like a resource center space that's really intended to be like a hub for housing services. So folks can come in and complete a matching to an appropriate placement assessment. They can meet with integrated behavioral health professionals, community health workers, folks to support their housing needs, support their social needs, and really be a place of stability to start working through that journey with folks, and letting them start dreaming about what the next step could be for them.
That sounds like it's a huge piece, Sam, for the coordinated program, right? Because now you'll have more tools,
Absolutely.
and a hub, if you will, where
Yes.
you can work, right?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Centralizing things is really, really important, especially when we're thinking about equitable access for folks. Like having a place like the Navigation Center, or, like right now what we're doing more organically with the coordinated entry system is that, it's like people are going to get served in the same way regardless of where they're presenting or if they are presenting at the Nav Center. I think it's going to be really impactful for the coordinated entry system.
Because I've seen this in some communities. It's hard because you'll have somebody that is in to get some assistance,
Yep.
and that agency or whomever will say, well, if you go across town and you're there at a certain time, and you're talking to somebody that either may not have a vehicle, may not have access to public transit in a smaller community, that could be a huge piece. So it
Yes.
seems like having that all
Totally.
on a site is a big step
Yeah,
forward.
a lot can happen between organization and organization, and maybe you don't get to that second one. So having everything in one spot is going to be really integral. Yeah.
Is another thing that crossed my mind when we talk about the folks that we're helping. Is there a demographic picture of that person? And the reason I'm wondering, because we know from what the school district says, really, and the schools have told us, how many homeless or transitional families, at least, that are staying in a car and they're still trying to get the kids to school and those kind of things. So I think of those family piece, but I also think of it as our population gets older here in Montana. Are we seeing that maybe be an issue with more health concerns? What's kind of that snapshot of the people that are in these programs? And maybe both of you could speak to that a little bit.
I'll let you take it first.
Yeah. Shameless pitch. The city of Missoula has a data page called Houseless Data, and that really does aim to be a snapshot of what we're seeing. We're working on making it be more dynamic and fun, but right now, I still think it's pretty fun. But right now, it really is like a snapshot. So if you were to type in Houseless Data, City of Missoula, you're going to see, I just pulled it a couple weeks ago, so this is a timely question, some demographic information, age breakdown, also some housing outcomes, which I think are really fun. But I think, sorry, now I'm like off of I got on my pitch and then I forgot what the question
It
was.
was basically what's on the house.
Yes, if you want to know really, the rich details of it, please check out that webpage.
I was asking about the demographic breakdown of the coordinated entry system, essentially, who is racially and age-wise and such.
Yeah, it is. I feel like that we're broken record, but it is a complex picture. I think something that stands out to me immediately is the disproportionate representation of Native Americans in our system. It is stark. I think on this last poll, they represent around 2% of our population and closer to 16% of our unhoused population. So that's what we would call a disproportionate representation. If houselessness occurred to folks equally across the field, we would see it representing the same as our population, which is roughly 90% white. So I would just say that. I would also add that, unfortunately, a lot of unhoused folks don't live to be really old. That is another stark reality. We certainly do see it just on this last poll. There is a little bit of a flux on the higher end of that, but unfortunately, part of how we prioritize resources locally is based off of age, and we actually have adjusted from kind of the national norm, right? We think of 65, you're an older adult, but when a lot of research has shown that when you're unhoused, that all those things start happening about when you're 55. So we're talking about 10 years earlier that folks are experiencing health issues that they would have experienced in a house at 65.
I know historically, and I'm going back 20, 25 years, there was a huge percentage, and I'm talking generally, say in the Northwest, huge percentage of veterans too that were in those populations, because at that point a lot of those Vietnam era veterans were starting to find themselves in those kinds of situations.
Yep.
What about the veteran piece of that? Is that still something that's there, and a population that, and how do you interface with, say, VA or anything specific to veterans' needs?
Absolutely, yeah. The VA, Volunteers of America, those are all really integral partners in the coordinated entry system, and they actually work through the veterans side of things independently, but in collaboration with us. And so they have, I mean, we have one for non-veterans as well, but what we call case conferencing, and that is a space where providers are getting together, working through a list of folks that have been identified by the system, and really on the back end trying to pull together a lot of resources and things for folks. So it's like you can like focus on making it through the day, doing what you need to do to survive today, and we'll come back with you with like, oh, this person is maybe eligible for something. Something that is a little bit different on the veteran side is that there is a lot of a significant amount of resource.
It's just a case of trying to get through the complexity to access
Yes.
the resource.
Yeah.
That's why I asked that question.
That's the piece.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Good.
definitely the piece. But it's nice because we're coordinated, those kind of things can happen on the back end. It's like those conversations may have already happened. Their, case managers are already working on getting that DD 214 figured out, or they're already kind of mitigating some of those issues that maybe were bogging up the system prior, because that is an issue with veteran stuff for sure.
Do we have any students that want to ask questions here? Oh, okay, let's go over here. I don't know if we can get you. I'll come over your way and go ahead and stand up and introduce yourself. We'll kind of face the camera here just for television's sake. So, but we'll include you. This is always awkward. So there you go. We'll get situated. There you go. That's what I wanted. So go ahead and give me your name and ask your question.
Okay, I'm Amy Boot, and
I'm Arthur Boot, her twin brother.
I thought there was a resemblance there. Great.
we are from the Missoula Democracy Project through the Public Library in Humanities, Montana, and we've actually just received approval for a project to put flags on the second floor of the library showing the air quality, and we thought that this would also help houseless people because they are more affected and more vulnerable to air quality fluctuations outside. And we were wondering basically if the city would be able to participate in a similar flag program, or if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah. Art, anything to add?
Yeah, so basically what it is this uses the EPA, which is a government website, and displays these different colored flags to show what the outdoor air quality is in Missoula specifically, and then obviously for people who are homeless who can't access that information as easily, this would be a good way for them to access that, and everyone else as well, of course.
Yeah.
So
well, good. That's good. Let's go ahead and give them a chance to answer. So, Emily, we'll start with you, and if we have to, we'll go to Councilman Hess here to get a little response, because that's kind of a policy piece. But what about this idea? Because this has come up, and it is an issue that we've heard more and more, especially in the recent fire seasons, the more intense smoke, those things, people not being able to find shelter.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. So the idea is the flag would go up, and they could respond, and here's a place they could come to get out of it, at least for a short period of time. What about that? That's the environmental impacts of things.
Yeah, I love the idea. Very smart. I think that's something we are trying to understand more and more. There is a lot of environmental inequity, and trying to figure out how we respond to that within our programs. I was just talking recently with someone about how, in previous years our mindset has been like, okay, severe weather shelter in the winter, and now we're like, okay, severe weather shelter also in the summer, like extreme heat, poor air quality, fire seasons. Like, this is something we have both times of year now. How do we address that? We've not had a severe winter shelter in the summer, or a severe shelter in the summer. That's something we need to start thinking about. So yeah, I think that's a huge piece of it, and creating equitable access to the information is huge. It's hard, I know to Google the county website and find the air quality report. a lot of people don't know how to do that, and even if they did, they probably, they might not understand the information on the page or figure out how to navigate to it, or let alone have a phone to even be able to pull it up. So yeah, I love that idea. I think that's great, and I think it's a great overlap. We have another program in our same CPDI Community Development Division that's a climate program, so it feels like a really cool overlap there as well. But I'll let council.
I would think, oh, here we go. We got some handouts.
Thank you so much.
Amy. That's
Oh my
great.
gosh. What was your
She
name?
comes prepared.
Amy, cool.
All
Thank you
right.
so
Really
much,
rad.
And
Amy.
Amy,
Thank you.
we'll direct you
this
too
is
to
awesome.
Councilman Hess as we're about to wrap up here in a few minutes. Don't lose that guy. Make sure he gets a handout too. Sam, I'm curious too. Last year, we had that just intense heat wave way earlier than it should have been in mid-June. And I know, especially on the coast, I was thinking of Portland in particular. Their humidity's higher. There were some real challenges there. And you always look at us and say, well, not quite, but it does worry. Did we see those kinds of impacts? Have we seen sort of things outside as you've tried to help people and tried to work with the various programs to get that
Absolutely.
going?
Yeah, I think that it was another really beautiful example of the coordinated efforts in our community because, yeah, people, I think about this in the winter, and I think it's becoming more of an issue in the summer, where it's we know that there's going to be extreme weather coming through, and that is a time in which we are mobilizing those outreach teams, where it's that's when you see the POV asking for water bottles, or, it really is all of these things are on people's minds for sure. And the fact that we're all centralized and are able to communicate with each other so easily just makes the response a lot better.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So,
Yeah.
well, we're just about got a couple more questions. Yeah, these are new questions. Keep track here. I need a coordinator. I'll give Sam the job. She does pretty well.
She does do pretty well.
Yes.
Thanks. I
In what
agree.
ways will projects? Oh, I asked that. Oh, it was this information that came through. There we go. Any more questions? That's what I was going to check. Okay, good. Anything from the audience? All right. I want to wrap up on just a couple of points here. Because people that may have been watching this or here in the audience, we talk about, well, how can I help? And I guess that's the question. If is it volunteering? Is it bringing bottles of water to the POV? Is it what can we do as residents who are not in that jam yet to prepare ourselves, and then also to help our friends, family, neighbors, and other people?
Yeah, my first response to that question is always to build relationship. So much of the stigma and the challenges that we face are because there's just not relationship. People have this unfounded fear of folks who don't have a house, and so there's a disconnect with the stories, all the stories we were talking about earlier, and so there are a lot of assumptions made, and it makes people not want to be empathetic or have them in their same neighborhood or whatever the situation is. And so I feel like that is just always the root, is relationship and understanding, and really the complexity of the issue. I mean, we started out talking about you don't address houselessness in a vacuum. You address it while you're also addressing so many other different root issues. It's a symptom. It is not, it's a root as well, but it is very much a symptom of a lot of other systems that are not supporting the population. And so that's kind of like a less tangible, more squishy response to the answer. It's not go to this page and donate, but it's so important, just as important as giving funding is understanding, building relationship, being a community member to every person in the community, and not just people with houses.
Out for each other to some extent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whether it's in your church or whatever other
Yep.
social organization in your neighborhood, if somebody 2 or 3 houses up the street that has some problems or things, I guess watching for people who are sort of starting to fall into those gaps too, right?
And Missoula's so good at that. I mean, we put out a call, not we specifically, but a partner puts out a call for blankets or water bottles or whatever it is, and Missoula just
Shows up.
meets the need in abundance. So Missoula is good at that. There's just a little bit of a disconnect with it being for everyone versus just for your friends or just for people with houses.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have another.
I literally would not add anything. That was beautiful.
The only thing
Yeah.
I would say, Sam, from the standpoint of these partners,
Yeah.
that you do have that network. If there's somebody out there that is part of a group or a board or something like that, and maybe they haven't got plugged into this, A, how can they get involved? And then B, also, what about helping those partners that are already on the list too?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, really good question. And the first thing that comes to my mind, one really accessible way to volunteer and be a part of a solution to getting folks into more secure housing. Missoula Interfaith Collaborative actually has a program called the Housing Advocate Network. Really, really fabulous. Meets folks where they're at, whether that is like, you know, somebody maybe is on the fringe of entering into the system and they're like, I really don't want to do this, but I don't know how to navigate this system by myself. Housing Advocate Network is a beautiful solution for that. These are community members that just care about everybody in the community having a home or keeping their home. And so really accessible volunteering opportunity there. And there's some training that goes along with that. It's also just like a really beautiful community where everybody is kind of learning and ebbing and flowing. And they're excited about getting people into housing, which is, I think, just so key. Like, everybody in our community deserves to have a house. And yeah, I digress. But Housing Advocate Network, Missoula Interfaith Collaborative.
Another more tangible, timely suggestion is Missoula Gives is coming up, and a lot of the organizations we work with and are partnered with participate in Missoula Gives, including some city programs and related to housing and the Affordable Housing Trust Fund and the Housing Solutions Fund we mentioned earlier. Hopefully, so there will be a lot of opportunities in that. So if the
And
easiest
that's that
way,
one day of giving, basically,
Yeah.
and you can go on Missoula Gives.
don't have the website, but
.org.
I'm sure if you
.org.
Googled
I
it, you
think
could
it's
find
dot-
it.
I
Ricky
wanna
looks
say-
like she has it.
Is it
Yeah.
.org? Thank you, Ricky.
Yes.
We gotcha.
Cue
Pulled
Ricky.
you in. Yeah,
right.
and that's a really great opportunity.
Yeah.
If financial is the easiest way for you to support and participate, that's a really great way to do
Very
it.
good.
Yes.
Well, we
absolutely.
certainly appreciate all the work that you and everybody else is doing. We just have two people here at the table, but to let you know, they represent dozens and dozens who are
Yes.
working on this very critical issue that's affecting not just the Garden City, but other cities as well. But it's nice to see that kind of innovation and everybody sort of rolling up their sleeves and doing what they can. So please give them a round of applause. I think they did a fantastic job. Thank you. And if you're watching at home, please share the link. We'll have that up a little later. And share this to others so that they know what's going on here in the city of Missoula to help these people, especially the ones that are in danger of losing their home. You know, dealing with houselessness, homelessness, those kinds of things really starts with trying to reduce the folks who are in danger of going, you know, and falling into those gaps.
Yeah.
And so that's the positive kind of thing we want to talk about. Again, thanks for joining us. Thanks for everybody. Thanks to my Scott and Ron and Joel and everybody from the MCAT crew is helping us again tonight. Thank you for the Missoula Public Library for hosting us, and thank you all for coming and being a part of this. And we'll wish our Mayor Ingen the best, and hopefully we'll be back with us again next week. Don't forget, we're here always on the fourth Wednesdays, upstairs, fourth floor of the Missoula Public Library. Please come and join us. Bring your questions. Thanks for being with us, and have a good evening.